Let's make this wiggle text animation. For this effect, you will need Blender version 3.5 or above. So, press 1 to go to the front view and delete the default cube. Press Shift A and add the text. Then press RX90 in order to rotate your text towards you. Press Tab and type your own text. Click on the text properties, font, and add your own font. If you wanna use the font I will be using, you can download it from the description of this video. Click on geometry and make the extrude value 0.1. And then, with the text selected, right click and convert to mesh. Go to the modifiers tab and add a remesh modifier. Make the voxel amount 0.005 and apply. Now press tab to go to edit mode and then press Alt Z to go to X-ray mode. So if you wanna make changes to any letter, you can select it by pressing L and move it by pressing G and scale with S. Now press Alt Z to get out of X-ray mode and then switch to sculpt mode. Get the smooth tool, make the strength 0.3 and the radius around 150 and just smooth out the text. Now go back to the object mode, add a displace modifier and make the strength -0.01. Create a new texture and go to the texture tab. Change the type to distorted noise, change the size to 0.1, the distortion to Voronoi F3 and the amount to 2. And apply the modifier. Now click on the world properties, click on the yellow dot and select environment texture. Now press open and open up your HDRI. If you wanna use my HDRI, you can download it from the description. Okay, now go to the render properties, switch the render engine to cycles, the device to GPU, go down to film and select transparent. Then press Z and switch to rendered mode. Now press Shift A and add a volume empty. Go to the modifiers tab and add a mesh to volume modifier. Select your text as the object and change the voxel amount to 200. If you wanna see how our volume looks, you can press Z and switch to solid mode and press Z and switch to rendered mode again. This will reset the volume and as you can see the volume is way bigger than the text and we don't want that, so make the exterior bandwidth 0 and if you see now it's the same size as the text. So now split the viewport and make it a geometry nodes tab. Go to the modifiers and also add a geometry nodes modifier and press new. Now press Shift A and add a volume to mesh node and also add a set material node. And for now just add any material. Okay, so now hide the previous text. As you can see nothing happens because we've now turned the volume to a mesh. So add a volume displace modifier, make sure it's below the mesh to volume modifier and above the geometry nodes modifier. Change the strength to 0.06 and texture mapping to object and press new. Now open the texture tab, change the type to marble and the pattern to sharper. Shift A on the viewport, add an empty plane axis. And now with the text selected, go to the modifiers tab and select the empty. As you can see, if we move the empty, the text is also moving. So now make the end frame 24 and zoom in on the timeline so we only see the 24 frames. Press Ctrl Alt 0 to move your camera to your text and also close the geometry nodes tab. Now let's place the text in the middle of our camera. If you need to zoom in or zoom out, you can press G and Z 2 times. And with G you can move the camera. Now go to the first frame of the animation and select the empty and move it to one side and press I and add a location keyframe. If your viewport is lagging, you can just lower down the voxel amount. I'll change it to 60. Now go to the last frame and select the empty and place it on the other side. Press I and add the location keyframe again. So now the text is moving with the empty. Change the voxel amount to 300 and let's create the material. Now it's time to create the material. Go to the materials tab and select the one we already have. For the base color, I will be using this hex code, which is a very nice green. For the subsurface, I will do 0.035, and for the roughness 0.4. Now go to the scene properties and change the frame rate to 6 and change the file format to PNG and the color to RGBA. Also select the folder where you want the animation to be saved and make the render samples 250. Go to the compositing tab, press use nodes, shift A and add a denoise node. And before you render, go to the modifiers and change the voxel amount to something like 400, depends on your PC. I'll do 400, but you can make it even higher. And render the animation. When the rendering is done, click on File, New and Video Editing. Now on the timeline, press Shift A and add an image sequence. Select the folder with your animation. If you wanna play the animation, press space. Before you render, make sure the frame rate is on 6 and these are the output settings to get a transparent background. Thank you for watching, make sure to like the video, and if you enjoyed it, go watch this one to learn how to make this distortion effect on any text.